Hey guys, it's Jason with Kentucky Sustainable Living. Saturday morning, got a few things done before we're going to start this video. It is rainy and muddy and nasty, and I really needed to move some dirt today into the greenhouse, but it's too muddy to do that. Maybe, I think it's supposed to rain later on this afternoon, so probably not going to get any of that done this weekend. I'm kind of held up. I don't have my stuff in for my roof yet to frame the roof in, and I can't put any more window framing in just because I want to be able to pull the tractor and the bobcat up there to dump the dirt, so I don't have to do all that by hand. So the plan today, sanding windows. What I'm doing on these windows, I'm just sanding them down a little bit just to get a bunch of the flaking paint and stuff like that off. Sand those down, get those ready to glaze, and then after I get a bunch of them sanded, we're going to teach you how to glaze old wooden windows. So come along with me, and that's what we're going to do. All right, guys, we are sanding windows. This is the inside of one of the windows. I've got it sanded down. There's no need. I'm not sanding them all the way down. Some of it comes off like super easy. And I mean, if it's coming off super easy, I'm just gonna let it come off super easy. But some of this stuff stuck on a little bit more. We're going to prime everything anyway, because some of this has got latex paint, some of it's got oil-based paint. Don't really know, so I'll use a universal primer from Sherwin-Williams and do it. But this is one of the inside of the windows. Flip it around. That's the outside exterior part of the window. You can see it's kind of nice using this random orbital sander because it vibrates a little bit, and any of this loose glazing that's loose will actually just come right off. So it makes it a lot easier than picking it off. But I'll show you the outside of the stuff. The outside of the windows has got a lot more wear on it, so that paint usually comes off a lot faster. But we'll shoot the sander real quick, kind of show you how quick it goes. It doesn't take super long to get this going, but we'll just kind of show you. All right, there you can kind of see where that glaze was going to pop out anyway, but just the vibrations from the sander popped it off. It's a lot easier for it to pop it off like that than it is to actually scrape this out. But there you can see that's nice clean bare wood ready for a primer. But I want to keep sanding windows, and then here in a little while we'll start doing some glaze work. All right, guys, I've got 38 windows sanded. That's probably all the windows we're gonna have for this. I'm not 100% sure. I think I forgot the front windows, but 38 windows sanded so far, ready to start reglazing them. Some of the things you're gonna need to glaze a window. I've got an old paintbrush, dusting stuff out, a couple rags. You need, this is a DAP window glazing. You can pick it up at Lowe's or any of the hardware stores. This is an oil-based. That's all I've ever used. You want to keep this stuff halfway warm. It's about 60, 62 right now, so it ought to be fine. I think it says Do not recommend when air temperature is below 40 or above 90. So, so we're 62, we're good. Some kind of putty knife. They actually make a glazing tool. I've got one somewhere, I don't know where it is, but you can do the exact same thing with a semi-stiff putty knife. And then one of the things on your window, if all the putty's gone, there's two ways to prep it. You can use boiled linseed oil, or you can use a primer to, and what you've got to do, let me get this up here where you can see. Where you've got raw wood right here, you need to treat that wood some way. If not, the glaze is not going to stick to it. So one method is to prime it with a primer. The downside of priming it with a primer is you've got to wait for the primer to dry before you can glaze it. The other thing you can do is take boiled linseed oil, and boiled linseed oil is a wood preservative, so you can rub boiled linseed oil on there and put the glazing on right after that, and you don't have to let it dry. So what we're gonna do, some of these windows, you can see the glazing is coming out pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and pop, if most of it's out, I'm gonna pop it all the way out and then just kind of clean everything up. So, and you can see that glazing will just pop right out on some of these. And it's pretty easy. This stuff, once over time, it gets super hard and brittle to where it'll just snap and come out. So what I'm gonna do is clean all this up and get it ready to go, and then I'll come back and show you after I've got the glaze off. All right, I've got all the panes of this window picked out and everything. You can see a lot of the glaze has come out. You can see there's no glaze left here. This little spot here, and then this spot right here. One thing, what I did was essentially some of this, you can actually just pick it out. I just took my knife, and if my knife pops it out relatively easy, I just let it go ahead and come on out. Anything that's stuck good, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it. I've got everything wiped down good. I'll tell you, I learned to glaze windows when first year of college. I had a house I was going to live in, and while I was in college, it's a house that my parents had built when they first got married. My dad showed me how to glaze windows, so that's where I learned. I was like, this is a horrible thing to do. It's kind of a pain in the butt getting used to it, but after I got the hang of it, I learned how to glaze them. I've glazed a lot of windows. Hadn't glazed any in a long time, but I've glazed a lot. I reglazed that whole house that I lived in and glazed some in the past. But my dad taught me how to do it. It's awesome. I'm grateful that he showed me how to do it. One thing you want to remember on glazing the window, if you can see where you've got some of the cracks and stuff, you don't want to go over old glaze and like skim coat it, because it's not going to work. If there's a spot that you need to redo, take all the glaze out of it and don't just skim over the top, because it's not ever going to work. But let me get the camera set up to where you can see a real nice picture of it, and then I'll show you. Also, most of your windows will have it's a glazing point is what they call it. It's just a small piece of metal that you push in against the glass into the window sash to where it holds the glass in until the glaze cures. I don't have any of those. Everything looks fine on this, but let me zoom in on this and show you. All right, guys, it is Sunday. I was working on the video yesterday of how to glaze windows. I got part of it, and for some reason, when I was actually doing the glazing, the camera messed up, the iPad messed up, so all that footage is gone. So we'll kind of start fresh. I'll keep that footage in there because it's got some stuff explained. But I've got another window in here. I want to do a little bit of glazing. I've got my glazing compound. I've been working it for the last few minutes in my hand, getting it nice and warm. I'm just going to glaze a couple little sections of another window and kind of show you how it is. Let me get in there. I've cleaned this window, got it all ready. Got bull linseed oil on it, all that stuff like I'd put in the previous stuff. But let me get the camera down here and then we'll put some glaze in here. All right, guys, I don't have my 15-man film crew with me today. So this is about the best angle I can get for you. But I've got everything. We're going to work on this piece right in here. I've got my glazing compound warmed up. I've got my putty knife, and we're just going to take and essentially work this in. You want to take that glaze and really just push it in. Don't worry about getting too much. Just make sure you've got enough in there. And you really want to bring it in and just push that in. And don't worry about the excess, because you're going to trowel it right back off and not worry. So what I'm doing is really just pushing that in there. And now what we're going to do is come across with our knife on about a 45-degree angle and just run it down, keeping a nice consistent angle. And what you're doing, you're actually cutting that putty against the glass. And then you can come back and just peel that cut putty right out. There's a little bit right there. And you can come in from the other side. There's one that's putty. Let's work on this one. We'll do one more and then we'll kind of call it quits. I've got some other stuff to do today. I just wanted to get this done for you since I lost that video. Go in just like before. Pack that as nice and tight as you can in there. Rabbit. Then as you're sliding down, slide nice and slow and keep the tip of that knife against the glass, and it will actually cut the putty. And honestly, it's a little bit easier if you're doing it when it's laying down, in my opinion. And then just come in and touch up your corners just a little bit. There. All right, guys, that is down and dirty, nasty, how to glaze some windows. No, we're not doing historic, antique preservation or anything like that, but for the greenhouse, it's going to be fine. Nobody's going to be looking that close at it. They're going to be hopefully oohing and eyeing over the plants that are growing in the greenhouse. Guys, I hope you like this. If you have, like and subscribe, and I appreciate it a bunch. Y'all have a good weekend.